All right, and we are live, everyone. Welcome to the Awakened Soul um, show with Aaron and Lucas. We're really excited for today's guest. Aaron, how you doing, brother?
Dude, I'm so excited, man. I have the chills already. I've been dying to talk to these guys ever since I saw the documentary. So you guys are in for a treat today. We have Nick Lightning and Frank Petka, who produced the documentary called Nick Lightning, about Nick Lightning.
Oh yeah.
So before we get started, we're going to show you the trailer real quick so you get a little sense of what Nick's got going on, but we can't give you the whole thing because the documentary's not out yet.
All right, here we go, guys. I'm going to get it set up and enjoy.
And a lot of barriers thrown at me since the jump street on this career of mine. And
you have batteries thrown at you?
Nope. I can say I haven't. You like a particular ride, if it's so poor.
I don't think I can describe Nick Lightning.
When he becomes Nick Lightning and he steps on that stage, there's no stopping him. This is a different kind of a show.
Can you pause for a second? Shit, give me a minute. Get ready. The car's gonna be issued over here. That's what music that makes me feel alive. Oh, thank you. This is actually my 1,102nd show tonight. They're calling us a bitch, but I love it. We want to bring the keyboards up here. I'm on that stage with the greatest eye in the world. But I'm gonna blow your minds out for the second set. Hello, my brother.
From when he was born, there was always something going on. His brain fires differently than everyone else's. Nick has always had one foot in the special world and one foot in mainstream. You know, the whole idea is always to mainstream everybody and make you act like everyone else in the world.
So you guys make me feel alive.
Mr. Nick Lightning.
In his mind, he is Nick Lightning. He is a star.
In Nick Lightning's world, he lives his dream.
He's happy. He's done it. He feels like he's done it.
A lot of people think I'm a joke. They don't understand it. I don't see them made a documentary made about their life.
That is so good. Oh my gosh, man. I'm so excited to have you guys on. That is amazing. Brother Nick Lightning.
Dude, it's so great. I got emotional already. I love that when your mom spoke, it hit me too. Like, I love the fact of how they see you and how supportive they've been through this journey. Because I know it wasn't easy, man, but it seems like your parents have been your rock, huh?
Well, yeah, my mom and my sister, my dad, well, not my dad at first. My dad at first thought it was a joke like everybody else did. But he came around years later when he finally got to see what I could actually do. Well, the reason I say my dad called me a joke is because in 93, I was on my porch in Rochport here at my old house, just jamming on the porch. Air guitar like this and just singing LCD, but not what it is today. But when I started getting it like today, set up, my dad started to like follow me and be supportive. My mom at first wasn't supportive either because she didn't understand what I was trying to do. So was my sister, but didn't understand because I didn't understand myself. I was started this technically in 93. 94 is when I started touring and doing all the stuff I did. So it's like, but fast forward now, my mom is my rock. She helps me build half my props and help me with half my outfits. My sisters are always to support me no matter what I do, even if I act like a jerk sometimes on stage. As you saw in the movie, of course, sometimes I can be really crazy. But besides that, I'm blessed and honored to be around good people around my life. Even my good friend Frankie down there, who has been my rock my soulmate, as a dear friend and a brother for over 20 years, and he has always had my back, no matter what happened, however to crap on me, he'll stick up for me.
Hmm.
And for that, I can never have enough gratitude for him, for Pat, for my mom, for everybody involved in this movie and in my life.
Hmm.
And if you watch the credits, you heard a song called Lightning Days. And I wrote that song myself. It was sang by me personally. So, so that's just why that means so much to me.
That's amazing, brother. That is amazing. And Frank, how did you come across Nick? And how did you guys first meet?
Yeah, guys, thanks so much for having us on. It's an honor, man. We're fans of your show. We love the movement, and it's just great. It's wonderful that you guys are doing this, kind of just embrace the finer things in life, and the love and the kindness and the peace, and just trying to put emphasis on that as opposed to a lot of the stuff that we see today. So thank you. Yeah, Nick and I, 25 years ago or so, met in
27.
27.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, sir. At a rec playground in Philadelphia. We ended up playing in a hockey league at the same time, and I didn't know Nick or anything at the time, and up there, you go up there and your game starts like right after the game before you ends, and I got to see this kid out there, and Nick really, sorry, Nick, but you're not the greatest skater. It was a roller hockey league.
Hey, I agree with you, Frank. Yeah, I know I'm not. I'm not going to lie, saying I am. I sucked at it.
So, well, no, you were good, but what they did with him, I saw him a few times, and he was kind of having some trouble skating a little bit. And there's some players that were like, I don't know, I could see him getting checked sometimes and just getting bullied and mean things being said to him. And I saw this maybe one or two games, and another time I saw him like a few weeks later, and they had him in goal. Like, he doesn't even have the equipment covering his body. The equipment's too small for him. People are firing shots at him. I mean, I don't even know how he was withstanding all that. And then I wanted to find out more about who he was. So I asked the guy running the playground who he is, and then I said, well, look, why don't you switch him to my team? And that was it. That started our friendship, and he's been on my team ever since. And we are brothers. He's a part of my family. He's Uncle Nick to my sons, and he's at all of our holidays, birthday parties, functions. He spent, God, almost every weekend up here for a very long time, maybe until I got married, but he's still here a lot, and we love him, and he's part of our family. And then the relationship just continued to blossom from there. And we always wanted to, my other best friend, Pat Taggart, who also produced and he directed the film. We always wanted to do something with Nick, but we weren't sure. We didn't want to cross any lines and make any folks think that we were taking advantage of this situation with Nick, or what he has going on, which can be deemed as disability. But as we've learned and hopefully shed light on, it's more of an ability, what's going on with Nick. But that's kind of the backstory on how we met, and we're going strong. And we did this film embarked on this adventure a few years ago, and we were hoping it would be received exactly the way that you guys have received it. And again, we're honored and we're blessed that you guys are having us on here, and you're willing to help us share this story, which it's so universal. And I don't know, we just want to get it out to as many people as we can.
And I want to piggyback off my friend for a second with that. I agree with everything he said. And I wanted to thank you myself for everything, for helping us out, because his was the labor of love, this movie. And that's a Bon Jovi song. If you know me at all, you know my hero is Bon Jovi. So in the movie, you notice I reference quite of his quite of his quotes basically in some of the songs. But he's the reason why I got into all this, and the reason I'm still here today doing it, and it's all because of him. And people like you guys, like people like yourself and Matt Cuban, who we were with a couple weeks ago, helping us get the word out, and makes me feel blessed and loved by you guys for doing this for us. Because, well, frankly, let's say he and Pat made other movies too before mine. They had one out called Billboard Boys that was done, I think, 3 years before mine, Frankie, roughly. About three, I think. So that got a lot of traction. Then after that, they decided to do my movie, and with some hiccups, of course. Who doesn't in movies? But but as it says in the movie, and you saw this point where I said that I was about to cancel it when he got the diagnosis. I was ready to see that's it.
Yeah.
But then I said, now let's go through. I wanted to know. I got a big belief that the man upstairs wants me to learn so much about myself that even I don't know about. So just to finish real quick, is I want to say thanks again for everything you guys are doing. I really owe you everything. I love you guys for it.
No, we love you too, brother. And it's an honor and a pleasure. And Matt Kubler is our brother. We work with Matt a lot, and I'm honored that he introduced us all. I also want to give some credit to Pat. Pat, if you're listening, beautiful, beautiful job. And yeah, we want to do anything we can to help spread the word about this beautiful film. And I love what you said about the diagnosis, and because was it gout? Is that what it was? You said something about gout?
Well, actually, now I went to, well, for people who don't know, I had a lot of health issues this past year, to where I couldn't move my wrists, my knees, or anything. I was having trouble with my joints.
Yeah.
And I haven't played guitar in almost 3 years. Couldn't pick it up. But they think it's RA or gout. We're not sure yet. So we're going to get a second opinion very soon. And hopefully we get to the bottom of it. But it could be either or. So I don't know now.
Oh, the thing I wanted to point out is what you said, because I've actually been dealing with some of it too. And a lot of things, you know, they don't know in the medical world. So I went to that higher power, and I understand it as a message. My body's talking to me so that we can learn more about ourselves. So I love that you took that same approach. And by you saying that right now, it just confirms everything that I've been thinking. So thank you. There's a reason for everything. It's a beautiful reason. It's part of our growing pains, right? As we go into this new world that we're headed to, we're starting to just feel things differently, and we need to feel it so we can release it. So thank you for sharing that and being brave enough and courageous enough to honor what's actually going on. But anyway, let's get back to the good stuff.
Yeah, really.
That's right. So Nick, we watched the documentary. It's so beautiful, brother. It is so, you are a beautiful soul, and just the journey and the joy and the passion for life is the model that everyone's searching for, and all these other things. And yet you're embodying what I think is the fullness of living. And, you know, brother, when you got to meet, when you know, that special moment at the end of the movie. Yeah. I'm like, no, yeah, I got you. But, you know, someday people will be saying they met you, and they are now. They are now. And I just want you to know that Aaron and I both see you as how you saw him. And it's really beautiful to have you on, brother.
Well, like I said again, it's really cool to be on here. I'm getting used to all this stuff. I'm not used to all these big podcasts, this movie, hoopla. I'm just a little nobody from a small town in Roxborough, Philadelphia, who just 20 years ago decided to go do something like music. But did I ever see myself as this big of a thing? Not really, but there's one thing I learned in my life. It's two things. Be grateful for what you got, and be grateful for what you can do. And if this can help people if this can show people that doesn't matter what the hell's wrong with you. You can have one leg, no legs, one arm, no arm, have brain or whatever. You can still sum up the courage to do what you want to do, like follow your dreams. And like I'd say in my video, it started with Bon Jovi's "You Can Love a Bad Name." That started the whole entire thing for me. So, yeah, but it's like, it's just that I'm at the point in my life where I'm 44 now. Well, I'm 45 really soon. I've been doing this for years, and I say to Frank all the time, I says, Frank says, when are you going to stop this, man? When's your last show going to be? So I say to him, is when they have a goddamn pine box on stage with my ass in it. That's when I stop.
I want to know, when's Frank going to join you on stage? That's what I think the show.
Well, he does join me on stage, actually.
I've
He
been,
does.
yeah, I guess I've been booed off stage, I think, right? Probably.
That's awesome.
I've been booed, I've been yelled at.
No.
I handle
No,
the sound and the setup, and Nick's pretty tough. He's very demanding. He's a perfectionist. He wants everything just right. His show planning is right there, like 6 months in advance. Like he
Mhm.
does his show, he takes off for like 5 months to chill and relax, and then he starts planning the next show. He does the annual show. Yeah, but make no mistake about it. Nick's a wonderful, humble, gracious guy, but when it comes to showtime, like he wants things to be right, and he spends a lot of time and the song list. And if I did something out of order or the volume is wrong or he's asking for something and I'm not giving it to them, he will not give the crowd Nick Lightning. I become the bad guy, and but no, man, we have so much fun. It's been such a wild ride, and
Mhm.
I love the way Nick summarized everything that he did. It couldn't be more accurate, and he puts things in perspective. It's just amazing, just all the special moments that I've gotten to hang out with him and be a part of all this stuff. It just helps me in so many aspects of my life. There's just so many, and even when you talk about some of his physical injuries that he's had, and I love how it's comparable to some of the things you've gone through, because he just fights through this stuff, and it doesn't matter what he has going on. I think in one part of the movie, I mean, everything was true. There was no scripted, nothing, sometimes that happens in reality shows or docs, but this was Nick as is. So even when he was carrying his stuff and he's limping, and I mean, that's real stuff. He wasn't even going to do that show, but he realizes that his fans need him. And that's the bigger picture. And he is just such a ball of inspiration and motivation, and he grounds me, and he's made my life so much better, and everyone's life he comes in contact with. It's incredible. So I don't know how much more or less or whatever you guys, but obviously you guys are steering, but whatever you want to, go into, I could ramble on forever about things. So.
Actually, just really quick, Frankie
And Nick
is
will ramble on forever. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Do it.
well, Frankie is my manager and sound guy. When you say I scream on stage, let me elaborate a little bit on that one for you guys. When I'm on stage, I give him a live microphone. So we talk off stage together. Say, Frankie, one song, what the heck? So that's what he's talking about. Like, I scream off stage. But he's right. When I get to show day, I am a little spasmodic. Because like Frankie said, I worked 6 months, getting things set the way I want it. But we forgot to mention one person who's also a big part of our team. Actually, 2 more. I'm sorry. And I want to first mention Frank Serban. That is his wife's father. He's one who is also like electrician. He is the one who helps. He's also my head stage designer. He helps me plug stuff in, get stuff printed up. Him and Frank both together design my stage with me, and they help me put it up. His wife Diane, who's a phenomenal makeup artist for Halloween. She can make you look good. She does all my makeup now.
Send her my way. Send her my way, Nick.
Hey, sorry, Frank. I didn't offer that up. But also, you see the shirt behind him?
Yeah.
Right.
That shirt right there was made in Hawaii. I had that made personally for me. But did I ever know in my wildest dream that this guy would want my shirt? I'm so shocked about it. Oh,
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It's,
So how do we get the shirts? Are you guys making shirts? Do you have them? How can people get them?
Yeah, we'll give you more information. We're just going to do some things. We've had some really good fortune with Bon Jovi and his team. Being Nick is such a fan, and Nick had the opportunity to interact with him.
It was really cool.
Yeah, they've been wonderful, and we got a request from his team that Bon Jovi wants a shirt, and he wants to wear it proudly. I mean, that's his reaction to the doc, which is
oh my god! And
incredible.
I was so I was so shocked to hear that. I'm still shocked to hear that. Here's me. I'm not a famous rock star. But here's a guy. He's a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest out there. Wants to wear one of my shirts. I am still. Can I curse for 1 second?
Sure, let it rip.
I'm so fucking honored that he wants to wear my shirt. It makes me feel so good. I don't usually curse. I can curse when my mom's not here. If my mom was here, I'll be like, I laser beams at my ass right now.
It's awesome. That is so good.
Let it rip, brother. Say whatever you feel in your heart.
Oh, that's a bad move. Say that, because once I get some little bit of courage, I can say anything.
Wait,
This is actually grape juice and water.
hold on, that absolutely is grape juice. That is grape juice and water. Nick does not drink anything.
Yes, I don't.
That's what's like another part of this story too, that you would think some people would think that what he does would require some type of additional stimulant to have the bravery and the courage to get up there. And he doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs, doesn't take pills, never has, never will. In fact, he's been out with me through my, my late teenage years and up through 20s and marriage and everything. And even when it's like, Nick, have a beer, he would drink twisted teas here and there. But once he drinks one or two, he's like, he goes down like quick. He's just like, so it's, it has the opposite effect that it has on most. So he doesn't drink any of that.
Well, actually, I don't like drinking because a lot of my family are alcoholics.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. Well, that's
one thing. But
it's very honest of you to say, but that's anyway, let's transition.
What's interesting, kids, and I want to ask you a question after this, but what I've noticed through the whole raising your vibration, which is something we talk about a lot. When you get, we're told like the phrasing they use around drugs is like to get high, right? But when you get yourself to a natural state of a high vibration, those drugs that used to get you high, when you were down in a depression in a low vibration, they would get you high. They would get you to here, but then you would crash and go back down. But when you're in a high vibration naturally, then that stuff is going to actually bring you down to here, right? So that's probably why if Nick is living in a high vibration, then alcohol is just going to bring him down, or any kind of drug is going to bring him down instead of up, right? It's people that are down in the dumps and they're looking for something outside themselves to get them high. It's because they're down. So Nick, where do you think, if you don't need anything external, you don't need drugs or alcohol, you're probably one of the only rock stars I know that haven't really dabbled in that stuff. Where do you think it comes from then?
Well, because like I said, a couple of my family members had issues with drinking. I'm not going to get into their names or who they are because my family stuff is my family stuff. We just said that much. I saw how my friends just get all the time and everything. And our friend Matt, another Matt that we know, who had a lot of issues with everything we just brought up. I saw how they acted, and I didn't like that way. It looked like they're being false with themselves, not true to themselves. I feel that if you want to be true to yourself, is to where you don't need that stuff. You just got me. I just don't care for it. I don't need it in my life. It's not been part of my life. I'm just happy being my naturally crazy self. Oh, the one that gets me high is a good-looking girl on stage.
So, hey, Nick, when you were young, what was the first time that you heard music? You heard Bon Jovi, or what was that moment? Do you recall when you're like, "What is this? Mm-hmm. What is this sound? This rock and roll?"
Well, it actually goes deeper than that, actually. And Frankie doesn't know this one I'm about to say. I think I told you, but you didn't. Well, back in the day, do you remember Donna Summers?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I was a big fan of hers, and I used to watch her on TV. That's my first taste of music. They used to put me in front of the TV. I used to rock like this, back and forth to her and singing. Then my Uncle Ellie, who's my mom's brother, who's a professional musician / music producer who did my Lightning Days song with me. He had a band, and I used to go down my grandma's basement when I was sick and watch him practice.
Cool.
So all that, and then, like I said, Bon Jovi's You Could Love Band Name is on to spark the flame for me to do this. So all that combined, and also I worked with one other person who does Elvis impersonator. I just play air guitar with him, but he's also another guy who brought me to shows and showed me the ropes and helped me. There's a lot of people over the years in Nickelodeon that show me the ropes and how to do stuff. Like I worked with another band for the Rolling Kegs, is a Rolling Stone tribute group. I was the roadie. I set up their stuff. I get the green room set up. I get their drinks.
Wow.
With this other guy I worked with, I was sitting in the green room and set up his stuff, make sure he has his cough drops, his water, everything ready. To this very day, I'm part of the show still, but I still do that before I go on stage and jam with it.
Wow.
So a lot over the years, I got humbled to how they do stuff. And that's why I can do what I do, because I learned at an early stage of my career that if you don't respect the music won't respect you back. And it's just that simple, because I respect music. I respect what they do, these people. I'm not out here trying to make a killing on my name. I make no money on all these shows. They're all free. So I'm just not out to I just was doing this just as fun at first. It was all about fun, having a good time. Yeah. Just being someone I'm not, basically. But back to what your question was. That's what music means to me. Music is universal language, and I just love sharing it with a bunch of people that love to hear me. And if I'm blessed one day to come out to your neck of the woods and do a show, I would love for you guys to be there too, to see me in full force. And sometimes it can be a good or bad thing too. That's how you take
it. I'll let Frank continue the setup. I won't get in the way of that oh, that's cool, brother. So Nick, what about I know you like Bon Jovi. I know you said you like Donna Summers, but what are some other musical talents or even genres that you like, that you connect with?
Well, I like Kiss, Motley Crue. Oh God, Iron Maiden, Anthrax, Sepultura. That's a death metal band, Frankfurt. You don't know what I'm talking about.
I do not know what that is.
I thought those were like acoustic love ballads or something.
No way. This is serious, heavy, blow your ears kind of music.
Love it.
And also the other people I like, Rod Stewart, Springsteen, Earth, Wind & Fire.
I mean, Nick,
Seeger.
if I can jump in too, that's what makes Nick so unique and so wonderful, and his show's so different and dynamic, because he doesn't discriminate against any type of musician, any type of music, and you'll get the full array during a Nick Lightning show, minus probably the boy band stuff. I think he has like a little discrimination towards that.
Yeah, I'll cut their heads off for fun.
He's not into that, but yeah, he is like, so, go to these shows, and then he'll do, like he mentioned, Rod Stewart, but Cher, for example, or Michael Jackson, Madonna. He jumps all over the grid. So it becomes kind of challenging in the 11th hour of his show, and we're trying to whittle down his 35 song set list to something more manageable. And it's like, well, Nick, I think the audience might like this, let's do this and that, but it's always worked out. But I just wanted to mention
that's cool.
To piggyback on that one, my Trump anniversary, I had a song planned for the ending of it. But like he says, in my shows, I could pull anything out if I wanted to. So you've not seen the movie, but in the actual controversy they made I have. I go to Frankie and say, listen, go to soundtrack list, Black, White, Michael Jackson. He looks at me like, what? Like, what?
Yeah, he pulled that one out of nowhere. That wasn't part of his song list, and ended his concert on Michael Jackson's Black or White. And the whole gym was dancing, literally, everybody was up dancing. And I mean, that was one of the best endings to his concerts, but he just came up with that on his own, and it just worked out fabulously.
And thank God I knew the words. Thank God.
That's all.
Some of them.
That would
It
have been a
doesn't
train
matter if
wreck.
you're black or white, and it doesn't matter if you know the words.
That's right.
Right.
Exactly. That might be his new motto. That's
So Nick, so before everything was going on, when you were doing this before, so you said you haven't played in a few years now. Were you traveling the world? Was it local? Was it traveling the country? And what was your favorite show?
Wow. My God. Well, mostly locally, I was traveling. And I did this other thing is I went to Altoona. One was like upper state with him, all over basically.
Okay.
But my favorite show of all time will have to be my 20th anniversary because that meant most to me on all my shows in my career. That was the pinnacle of saying to people, "Hey, you kicked me in the gut, you beat me down, tried to get me to leave. I'm the rash who was here for 25 years and doing stronger." And my other favorite show would have to be was 1996. This is not in the film. There's no documentation, by the way. Get my word for it. 96, Trenton, New Jersey. I forgot. It was called the Lounge House. I was at. I was getting on the stage, and you first saw my guitar. You touch, you die, right? That's the famous night. So when I go on stage, at the time I had 50 guitars, 2 drum sets, and so forth. So I go on stage, and my first song when that tour was Carpenter by Led Zeppelin, it was like dun 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 dun. I was all ready to go, and I pick up the guitar. He gives me my guitar tech. He gives me it. It comes up to Barracuda by Heart. I was like, I looked at him like, what the heck? So that's where the sing on my guitar, you touch, you die comes from. And after that, I said, you're fired. See ya. Just like as I just. That's because he screwed up my sound. That's three of my favorite shows in my whole entire life.
Wow.
But
I am surprised I have not been fired yet.
no, Frankie,
I am like
Frankie,
I've been
wait,
on the
I'm
edge sometimes.
Frankie, I'm gonna set that straight right now. You're never being fired. You're never gonna get let go because you're always attached to me for better or for worse or for good. The death does part or how.
Well, that's a verbal contract. You just said it out loud.
Oh,
but it's
no.
Frank, you're
It's
safe.
always that way, brother.
Wonderful.
One of my favorite parts of the documentary, and you were talking about like he won't come out if it's not right. And this is before I knew you were the producer. I just kept hearing Frank, play. You got to play this right song, or I'm not coming out there. I'm not coming out.
Oh God, I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, once in a while, Nick will challenge me. I don't know if it's by design or not, but he won't have his tracks labeled sometimes. So play that one. I'm like, which one? And I'm like clicking stuff. I'm like, come on. Yeah. So you never know what's going to happen. It's a lot.
Oh,
It's a lot of
Jesus.
fun.
Nick, it seems like, yeah, it's pretty cool that your parents fostered this for you, or at least, held space for you to create this in your life. How did that first concert come to be when you first approached this idea or had the idea? How did it happen?
Well, you gotta go back to 93, towards the end of it. I was on my porch doing stuff, and actually I started because one night I went to the Kendrick Rec Center, and there's these guys, these local kids I used to hang out with. They're okay crowd at the time, but they became worse crowd later. I stopped hanging with, but before that, they just go up and they just play basketball. Now, I was not a basketball player. I couldn't do anything about that. So one day, I made $5 tape that my $2 poncho, take my $2 headphones, and in the Dorito guitar pick and started doing this. My guitar started singing out loud, and that's how it all started.
Wow.
And that's how I got discovered. It's so funny how things work. So I was not going to do it at all. But one of the girls who I hung out with, her name was Allie. She said, Nick, you should go do that. Because I used to sing around her just for messing around. No, we were just good friends. Let's end it out right now.
Thanks for clarifying that. Messing around was just hanging out.
So we're just hanging out. So that was the first. Then when I got to the point of the stage shows, I first told my mom what I'm doing. My mom looked at me and says, I don't understand this. Why, Nick? What's it all about? What's driving you to do this? And my dad was at the time like, Nick, no, not bad, not a good idea. You can sing, you don't play guitar. You don't look like a joke up there. And I don't want my son to look like that.
Hmm.
I'm like, my mom says to me, Nick, you showing you this? Well, let me get to a quick story about my mom. It was Hawaii. See that footage of me in Hawaii? That almost never happened. Here's this. I told mom one day wow, I'm gonna try Nick Lightning out here. She's no Nick, not a good idea. No one's gonna understand you. No one's gonna get it. So let's say I don't take no for an answer too well. I drove my scooter down to Aloha Towers. It's like one of the biggest malls, and they have a stage that's world famous. Like Tiny Tim was on it, Don Ho, all of them. It's like originators. So I went with my little DVDs, my little printouts. And I get there, and she basically laughed in my face and said, "Ignore my face. This is your joke." So then, fast forward a couple weeks later, I'm at this Aloha Tower. It was the first ever mall built in Hawaii, the first ever. They had a stage there when I started to see it. So one day I get the bright idea and saying, Mom, let me ask how do you do this? No, Nick, no. My sister's like, no, not yet. So I based on them go off yourself because I'm going to do it. So well, to this guy Art, this called the ambassador. The ambassador there is the guy who tells you we're going to mall for stuff. So yo, Art, how do I get on that stage? Should I talk to you? Talk to this guy T. You send me emails on what you do, and he'll bring you in to talk to you. So I figured give it a shot. So lo and behold, Tuesday I get an email from him. Hey, Mr. Lightning, saw what you saw the email. Looks cool. Come in and we will see about it. So I brought my stuff and he looks at me and says, okay, we're giving you a shot. We don't know yet if we're going to do it. Got some other partners, but we'll let you know. On April 29th, I forget the year. Excuse, sorry, a lot of years in my head. He told me you got 2 hours. So, and that's the night that changed my life because I got down there with my banner, not my banner before I had a banner, set everything up. And there's this guy named Eric Lamb who's cleaning the stage. He's like his profession was a rigger. He actually worked on professional concerts, like doing the lights, climbing up in the light stacks. He did all that. Later, he became my music manager out there and my person sets up my concerts. So long story short, is that I went on that night. The rest is history. So
Guys,
that's
Nick, can I jump in too? Awesome story, man.
Yes.
And the details were great. But this story defines Nick, right? Like even his mom, his sister, I mean, myself at times, there's been some type of doubt. Like you can tell Nick that it can't be done, but he will find a way to get it done. And that's an example of it. Like he kind of transplants, moves to Hawaii because his sister gets a job there. So his mother and himself and his sister move to Hawaii. He doesn't know anyone, but he's like, I'm going to bring Nick Lighton to Hawaii. And naturally, his mom's like, Nick, they're not ready for this. Like, it's a different world, different culture, different everything. But he's able to befriend a few people. He's just a naturally appealing human being because he has such great qualities that we should all aspire to have, just being genuine, sincere. He just wears his heart on his sleeve. He's just very lovable, likable. He doesn't pull any punches. And I've seen it happen time and time again with him that he overachieves. It exceeds expectations. And it's a symbol that we can all do that. And we should all be striving to do that in our lives and not listen to people to say, no, put you in the box. It can't happen. But it just, as he's telling this story, and I never really elaborated or really got to share this with anyone, but that's the way I feel. And that sums him up. And to this day, with him getting his driver's license, he's been told he's been limited or been told that he can't do this, can't do that, but he continues to exceed. And even this situation that we're on this podcast, even the movie, and you can't do that because of this, because of that. Like he's just been the victim of labeling, even by those that care for him deeply, like myself, but just because we're afraid for him to get hurt. Meanwhile, we should be like, might be more encouraging, right? And say, go, you have this ability, like go out there, spread your wings and I love what his mom says that we have in the film, where she says maybe he's like the Mal Tinkerbell, and he just goes around and sprinkles a little bit of this, what he has, all over the place, and it's
Lightning dust.
lightning dust. I
That's
don't know if that
awesome.
sounds too good, but
That's so good. So where, first of all, Nick, thanks for sharing. And Frank, absolutely. That's a beautiful quality of just, if our world, I mean, what are we finding ourselves in right now? A world hedging, bracing from fear, bracing from something, as opposed to living, and we don't know how long we're going to have on this earth, days, minutes, years. But Nick, you're an example of living, not trying not to die. And that's what I think why it's so appealing is you're living, brother. And it's you are such a beautiful example. And the movie is so touching, man. I mean, how long is it? Like 20, how
27.
So
Yeah.
in
28,
27
dude.
minutes, I
Sorry.
laughed and cried in 27 minutes. Like
Okay.
that is I don't know what other show I've ever watched or that amount of time where it's brought all these emotions out. So that's credit to obviously you, Frank, and the whole team that produced the movie, but definitely Nick, you and your beingness, man. It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It penetrates to the core, and that core is not always touched. Even with film and television, they could hit you a little bit and hit those surface emotions. And you're like, oh, that's sweet, but there's something different about this, and it really
Sorry.
gets all the way through. What, you got to take a phone call?
Nah, I can meet these people because they always want something from me.
Like
Dude,
a
it's the life
true
of a rock
star.
star.
Oh my
Like
God.
a true rock star.
Jeez.
Oh man. So where talk about when the movie's coming out, how people can find it, support it, what we can do to support you and everyone watching the show.
Well, no, you can find the movie. Is the way you find it is if we ever get it to which they were waiting for it to come out for one or two reasons, like Frankie said in the beginning, that we were waiting for the right time. We could get together, we could just die down, we get vaccinated. Oh, by the way, I got vaccinated 2 Saturdays ago.
Right on, right
Hey.
on, Nick.
And then on May 1st, I get my last one, and I'll be good to go. But back to your question. So the movie is on hold for a little bit because Frankie has been busy, as he told me, seeing out the film festivals. He's booking shows like podcasts and shows like this to do. So right now we're just trying to get the word of mouth out. We're trying to build a lot.
We're still in the early stages. We actually haven't. We talked about festivals, but we haven't submitted it. We want to do it the right way. Make sure we have the right permissions in place, which it looks like we do. So we're just fortunate to have resources like Aaron and some other folks, and we're just trying to figure out what makes the most sense releasing this to the public. And we still are unsure exactly what that looks like right now.
Well, I have no doubt that when you start submitting to those festivals, that it's gonna get into at least some of them. I mean, this is a unique film, and it's not just a unique story. The way you guys put it together is beautiful. It really is. It's 27 perfect minutes, not too long, not too short. It takes you on a ride. And I had the same thing, man. I was laughing, and then, I was finishing watching it as I was walking my son to the park. I'm pushing a stroller, watching and then the end hit me. I'm like, oh man, I started crying, and I'm walking this stroller down the street. I'm like, no, man, it just touched me so much. So I have no doubt that these festivals are going to have a similar response, and it's only a matter of time and a matter of when you guys are ready and get your ducks in a row. And, obviously we'll help however we can promote it when the time's right and whenever you guys are ready. But this is something special, man. This kind of movie doesn't come along very often. So I think now more than ever, the world is craving this, because I truly believe there's a Nick Lightning in all of us, just dying to come out, and you just lead by example. Like we question ourselves all the time. Am I good enough? Well, maybe I'm not the best guitar player. Look at that rock star. And you're a perfect example of you created your own destiny, right? You didn't let anybody stop you, and you said, no, I am Nick Light. And you knew that at your core, and nobody was going to tell you otherwise. And that's beautiful, man. You inspired me. You reminded me that we have to remember this. We have to remember that we are exactly who we are for a reason. So don't try to be somebody else. Be Nick Lightning.
Thank you very much for saying that. That means a lot to me. And I was going to say something. If by us doing this, you did a lot already in the beginning to help us out with getting the word out. And like Frank says, we're still waiting to see what we're going to do. Like we still got the pandemic. Don't forget about that. We're still in the middle of this crazy pandemic. And hopefully, but later this year or early fall or spring or summer comes first, people still get vaccinated and still when we all get vaccinated, we have a good shot of being this damn thing. Hopefully, I'm saying this year might not happen, me getting back on stage, but when it does happen next year, I am gonna be like a caged animal getting let loose. So let's say my next show, I'm listening to music right now. I'm still listening to music. I'm still working on songs and just a little bit of different stuff each day. The reason is because I want to be sharp as a knife and ready to go when the time comes.
Yeah.
And like my friend says, when this time comes and we do get out to the world, by me doing these podcasts, he's helped me because like I said before, I'm not used to all this in my life. I'm just used to being just me and Frank together doing this stuff and all my friends with me doing this adventure. So now I got Cuban, I got you guys. That is like mind blowing. How much love I'm getting from this movie just for
So
the
Nick,
short amount.
they're going to get T-shirts, but they're going to get backstage passes, or no?
Without a doubt, they got
All right.
backstage.
All right.
Without a doubt,
All right.
they're my special guests.
That's
Guys-
beautiful. And I bet
guys,
your first show back is going to be fire, man.
Nice. I one thing I wanted to mention too, and I talked about really no limitations for Nick, and it's something that we didn't get a chance to touch on. And there's just so many elements and storylines with Nick.
Frankie, what did you?
What happened?
I think Frankie internet crashed.
Well, you guys can't hear me?
Internet crash? No, you're good.
Oh, okay. So what I wanted to say real quick is one thing we hadn't mentioned is that through this process of making the documentary, we were having a hard time telling the story kind of the way we tell things, like with this basic beginning, middle, end. And we went down a path to see if Nick may have autism. And that's kind of part of the story. And he was diagnosed, but to the point about Nick kind of exceeding or really not being put in a bucket, even when that happened, it didn't change him, you know? And I think that's another lesson too. Like when things happen, things go awry, or you're told you're this way or that way, like you are who you are at the core, like you said. So I think that speaks volumes to him again. And although it, initially we thought, wow, Nick can go out and be kind of like a vision or a kind of like a poster for autism, and look how wonderful, and look how he's living his life, and look at all the things he's done. But that's not it. You know, it's almost the exact opposite. Like he did get diagnosed, but it didn't change him, and he's not going to let it alter him, and it's not going to make him do things this way now or that way. So that's an important piece. But there's just so many elements to Nick and the story and different subjects that we didn't touch on that maybe we can in a more like, you know, a Lenten version of the film or
yes,
whatever. So it is kind of like we want to submit this. We don't know if it is like as is finished quits right now, but we're going to make that decision in the very near future. So
actually,
that's another important thing, because most people, you get a piece of information, it changes the entire trajectory of your life.
Mhm.
But that piece of information, because it seems, you've been doing this for so long, you're like, I'm just Nick Lightning. And that piece of information, okay, I take it and I let it go, because what's it going to change? I am who I am, right?
right on.
So I honor you, because
Yeah.
that's not an easy thing to do. You go to the doctor. I went through the ringer in the medical world where they told me that my spine, and they showed me the MRIs, and my body, I heard it, and my body justified it. And I was almost crippled because of a piece of information.
Yep.
And then I had to reverse that information and just go, no, I am strong, and then heal myself with my mind. The mind is a very powerful thing. So the fact that you can take that information with a grain of salt and say it doesn't matter, that's huge, man.
It is.
That's really huge, and that's inspiring to the world. I mean, if more people could embrace that quality that we all have within us, and put the fear aside and say, that doesn't matter. That doesn't change who I am. Good for you. That's
Well,
awesome.
Thank you. Well, yeah, because when Frank said I got the diagnosis, I looked at, well, it's not in the film. When we got the official diagnosis, me and my mom went, and she asked me point blank, does this change anything for you? You notice this? Nope, it doesn't, Mom. I'm still the same neck. I'm still the same son that you raised, and it's still the same neck. It was on stage. I'm still the same neck everybody loves. It doesn't mean nothing to me. It's just another layer to my life. And at this point in my life, I'm at the point where nothing surprises me anymore. Trust me. And hopefully, like when we do put this out, it's the right time, the right place, the right way. So people can see that could be a beacon of light for them. When you're even when you're in your darkest hour, your darkest days, or you're down in dumps, people just to put that movie on, even a part of it. And that will let me be the beacon to show them that there is light down the tunnel. There's happiness in the world. Look at me. I'm living proof. I'm living my life. Am I married? Nope. Kids? Nope. Have a 40-hour job, 40-hour week job? Nope. But who wants that? Like I said in the movie, that's just boring stuff. I'm just happy being me.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you.
Frank, I didn't mean it that
I'm
way.
gonna jump off my roof now when I walk out.
That's great.
No, I'm not. Well, Frank, Frank, you know what I was trying to say.
I know. It's fine. I know you are. It's fine.
Well,
Yeah,
you guys.
But seriously, I want to say before you say anything else, I want to thank you guys again. It's been a great time. Thanks for helping us. And hopefully, if you guys are getting here to Philadelphia, look us up and we'll take you around our city and we'll have a nice party for you guys to show up, and we can probably have a stage set up and you can see what I do.
Look at this guy. He's wrapping the show up for you guys.
I love it.
Dude,
Well,
he's got
not.
some timing, man.
perfect timing, perfect entertainer. You're a pro, Nick. You're a pro, brother.
Thank you. I'm used
Both
to
of you
it.
guys, thank you so much. I put the trailer in the notes. We're gonna share this on YouTube. We're gonna share this out everywhere.
Thank you.
You guys are such
Thank you.
beautiful brothers, and thank you for coming on. And man, here's the more light in the world.
Hey, good luck to people. Like I was telling Aaron, and like kind of a little bit of a funny thing, but if you see how Nick's name is spelled on his Zoom, he decides not to spell lightning the traditional way, which is also on his T-shirt. He spells it lightning. So if you're looking for
it's
it,
Chinese
Googling,
version.
you're not
It's
gonna
Chinese
find-
version, Frank.
It's what?
It's Chinese version.
Well, maybe but maybe if we make the shirts, we'll spell it that way too. Maybe that makes more sense. And maybe we'll change the title to it now that I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, just go
Don't
all
think
out,
about
man.
it. No, Frank, that's copyrighted, that stuff. So don't even try it.
Okay, thank you.
It's great.
Sorry,
Well,
but anyway, I had to mention that.
I love that. You guys are beautiful. Thanks for coming on, and everyone, thank you for watching.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
Take
it.
care, guys.